Hello, welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video we're going to be looking at how to make a birthday card using this 3D embossing folder from Nelly's Choice called Cog Wheels. Okay, so what I have used for this, I've got a 6x6 base card, it's a white one. I'm using for all the parts, I'm using the Centura Pearl Metallic Golds. There are 4 different tones in here. These two look quite similar, but this one is a bit brighter, this one's a little bit more muted. So those are the 4 we're going to use. For the squares, I'm using a card deco die set. Not going to be using this outer sort of decorative one, we're just going to be using these ones here. Plus I have a happy birthday die, which is a little creative expression sentiments die. Okay, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start by embossing the background. So I have a piece of the more muted gold that I'm going to put into the folder. Remember, when you're using embossing folders, always make sure that you've got your card in the right way, particularly when it's one-sided. You want this bit to be embossed. So I'm just feeling where it's raised. If I was to put my folder that way, then this would press into the card and deboss it. But I want it to be embossed, so I'm looking for the bits where they go down in. Okay, so she says, I'm not convinced I've done that the right way around. I think that is the right way around. Let's try it. If it debosses, hey ho, we'll see how it goes. So using the Gemini to emboss, and with these Nelly Choice folders, I find that the using the base plate, the magnetic shim, and the sort of white shim is enough to give the pressure that you need to get good emboss. So we're going to see now whether I've managed to get the folder the right way. After all my talk about, oh yes, yeah, so I've got that up the right way. Okay, so on the card you can see that it looks a bit sort of paler in areas, and that's because all I've done with this is I've taken a sanding block to it. So I'm literally going to go over, and you can see already with just a tiny little bit on there, it's starting to take back that gold surface from the card. It leaves bits of white. It doesn't need to be even, it doesn't need to be all over. Just gives it a bit of a distressed look. Okay. Okay, so we'll cut that down in a moment. We also need now to cut the 3 white squares here for the back. So I've just got some white stamping card, and I'm going to take these dies. I need the 3 biggest, so I need this one with the sort of pinhole dots and the next 2. Now be careful with this, because when I was doing the prep, if you're not in a bright room with your glasses on, you can sometimes put these down the wrong way because they are very, very thin. Okay, so just make sure that you're putting the cutting side downwards. And a few of them I managed to put it the wrong way up. Just bear with me, as I don't seem to have my tape. Oh, I don't have my tape. Yeah, just bear with me a moment. Oh, it's over here. It's over here. Not a problem. There we go, got the tape. So I'm just going to take these down, particularly when you're using more than one die on a piece of card. What you don't want is, first of all, for them to slip off, but also you don't want them to move and then end up cutting on top of each other, which can damage and distort your dies. So we'll run this through the Gemini. Oh, take the folder out. Oh, it's all falling apart. The reason I'm not putting it right over the top, and just trying to catch the edge, is because I don't want the tape to stick to the card when I die cut it, because sometimes it can do that even on the best low tack tape. So we need this. So cutting plate. Oh, and my hair. We don't want my hair in there, do we? No. The shim, the magnetic shim, and then the top plate, and we put that through the Gemini. Okay. Now I have already gone ahead and cut the 3 pieces or out of other 3 colours from the pack. And what I've done this time, I've used the smallest die and the next 2 up. So we haven't used this die for cutting out the pieces of Centura Pearl. Okay, they just pop out, and they are literally going to be our mats. Those to one side. That nice and easily. Pulled it the right way. There we go. So we've used this die, this one, and this one to cut those 3. So now I have my 3 white mats and my 3 pieces for these parts here. So we're going to put these 3 pieces of Centura back through the folder. Again, let's make sure I get it up the right way. So place them wherever you want, however they fit. Doesn't really matter because it's a random pattern, so you're not going to it's not going to make any difference where you put them. So back through the Gemini, again, base plate, magnetic, and then the plastic shim. Through. So we're going to do the same with these. Once they're through, I'm going to take my sanding block to them and distress them a little bit. So we exactly the same as I did before. Take my sanding block, literally just going over the top, taking off some of that gold coating on the top of the card. There we go. And the last one. I'm not too worried that I've bent it slightly because I do want a fairly distressed look, which I am going to add to, because I'm going to cut this one first, cut this down to the side. And I'm literally going to put that through, and I just tend to line it up with where I can see the edge of the folder through. And then one side. One and one. Okay. So I now have my 4 pieces ready for my card, but I am going to distress them further. Now you may have at home, and I have somewhere, which I couldn't find, a little distress tool to distress the edge of your piece of card. Couldn't find mine, so I had to resort to scissors. So all I'm going to do is just literally scrape the scissors along the edge. Again, it doesn't matter if I cut all of it. It's just to give it a little bit more of a distressed feel. And if you really, you could take this a step further. I've chosen to leave the white bits white, but you can take an ink pad and go over the top of those if you wanted to add another colour onto it. I quite like the white because we've got the white mat for these pieces to go on. So 2 more bits to go. We'll be ready to put this card together pretty much. Okay. Bit. So here's our card and our base piece for our card, I think. So I'm just going to get my Cosmic Shimmer glue and make sure that's the right way around. Oh no, not if the top's on. Glue all over the back. Okay, this is going to go on our base card. Like, I'm fiddling and faffing now. Like that. Yeah, so that can go on there. Okay, and then get the 3 bits. I'm not going to distress the edges of those. You can if you want. If you want to give it a really, really completely grungy feel, by all means, distress the edges of those too. But I'm going to leave them. So this bit, oh no, that bit goes on there. You can see I've done it in a slightly different colourway to the original. That's entirely up to you. You could do it with all the same colour. I quite like the contrast of the different, making sure I'm putting the right ones in the right place. That one. Now the sentiment is that it's a little creative expressions sentiment, which again I've already pre-cut because you don't really need to sit and watch me die cut bits and pieces. So there we go, there's our sentiment, and I've just cut a few bits matte and layer, and I am going to distress this this gold bit along the edge before I layer it on. Again with the scissors. Okay, so I'm going to stick this piece on to the bigger white piece. Then this piece on. And then I'm going to grab my tweezers, and I just need a bit of scrap paper. Scrap paper, where have I got? Use this bit. That will do. So I tend to pick up my sentiment in my right hand, turn it over and hold it in my left, and then I got the glue. Now it does look like I'm putting a lot of glue on here, but the reason I've got the little bit of scrap paper is because I'm going to blot that off in a moment, so it doesn't, when you press it down onto the piece of card, just put it on there just to blot off most of the glue, and then when you put it onto wherever it's going, you're not going to hopefully get those big blobs of glue coming out. Okay. Okie dokie. Right, so now it's a case of putting our pieces together to complete our cards. So we'll start with the bigger part. I'm just going to use again the Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue to put this one on. And when I do these kind of random things, I do still have a bit of a method. I do tend to try to get my corners to touch the outer. Just gives me a little bit of a placement so I know where I'm going with things. Now for the others, I want a little bit of dimension, so I'm going to use a bit of 3D glue gel. So we're going to raise this one up just a little bit. We don't need much to raise this one up to begin with. And then again, I would like to get a touch on one of the corners. And then this one will need, because it's another layer up, we'll need a bit more of the glue gel. And I think this syringe, is it going to make it through? I don't think it will. No, that syringe is empty. Oh, and look what I've done. I put it down. First done. Ugh. Blech. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. Not to worry. Oh, and this one's gunked up. Oh. When you've had glue syringes sitting like this for a while, they do tend to plug up right in that very pointy bit. So there we go. I've cleared it now by sticking my pokey tool in, and now it's clear. Okay, so there's my third. Oh, which one? I might get a slightly different angle on this one. There we go. We'll put that there. And our last bit is our sentiment. And a bit more glue gel on there because that's going to be our top layer. And it's going to sit and across there. Okay, so there we have our very, very simple, straightforward card. Brilliant for a man's card. I know when people moan about having to make man's cards. I have loads to make for my family. So yeah, nice, easy, simple card. Thank you for joining us.